Hello everyone, Richard Lewis with video here, and it's a strange one. I'm literally recording this just after what I'm about to tell you about happened, and it's a bit of a strange situation. So here's what happened. A long time ago, Subroza added me on Skype, and I didn't think anything of it. Because obviously a lot of pro players have me on Skype, and they occasionally want to talk to me about things or ask for help or ask for advice, and I just accept them all the time. Doesn't matter who the pro is, doesn't matter what I think about them. I'll always accept a Skype ad from a pro, because we work in the same industry. So I didn't think anything of it, and he didn't say anything. This was back in September. And, I thought maybe it was just a courtesy thing, or, it was just maybe he did have something to say, but he's like working up the courage. Or maybe it was a sensitive issue and he didn't know how to frame it, so whatever. So anyway, a few days ago, the account finally piped up and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about something." I went, "Okay, cool." And he said, "Would it be okay if we did an interview?" And I said, "Yeah, sure. What do you want to talk about?" And he says, "I just want to clear my name and, address some of these allegations." So I said, "Okay, just so you know, right off the bat, I've got my suspicions, and it may be quite a challenging interview." And he said, "Hey, no problem. Let's do it." So we agreed that we'd loop in after Thanksgiving. He was very adamant that he wanted to do this interview, So we set it all up for the interview. I take a step away from my work. Obviously, Sam's not here. He's at DreamHack at the moment. I have to learn how to use a fucking XSplit and make an overlay, and I'm an old man, so that was challenging. But I got it done, right? And I'm ready to go. I'm ready to interview Subroza. And then we go into this call, and so immediately he says, "Oh, I don't have a webcam." Okay, so all right, well, suppose that's possible. He said, "I went to my mother's house for Thanksgiving, and therefore I didn't have a webcam." But already there's a sound in the back of my experienced journalistic brain, and I start talking to him, and he says, "Look, basically, I want to tell you, Richard, and I want to do it through you because you're a trusted journalist. I want to tell you that I've been cheating." And I'm like, okay. He says, I've been using a private cheat that is in my mouse, and in basically what happened is I'm getting kicked from CLG because CLG found the cheat on my mouse. They snuck into my room in the middle of the night, took my mouse that was in my bag by the side of my bed, and they located cheats on it, and I'm getting removed from the team. Now, this is an extraordinary story, right? An extraordinary claim. But there's just something not right. I mean, it's too clean. There's details that don't measure up. Why would you sneak into someone's room, somehow not wake them? Why would you have your mouse in a bag by the side of your bed? All of these things just seem a little bit too fantastical and ridiculous. The fact that he's also not on a webcam, the fact that I've never spoke to Subroza. So I basically said, "Listen, let's get you. Let's hold off. Let's get you on a webcam, shall we?" "Oh no, I need to do it now, and I can't be on a webcam." "Okay, then, can you tweet me a DM?" "I can't access my Twitter right now." "Okay, can you add me on Steam?" "Can't access my Steam account right now because it's a mobile login." So I mean, very clearly, this was somebody trolling me. This was somebody who'd compromised Subroza's Skype and was actually trolling me to do a fake interview, confessing to fake things that hadn't happened. And I told them this. I said, "Look, here's what I think." And eventually, they did come clean. And I was recording the call, obviously, because I was set up for the interview. Now, here's what I will say. I'm probably going to have to run a lot of this through Vegas and try and normalize the sound settings because it just wasn't set up. We hadn't even done the sound check yet before we started spewing into these extraordinary claims. But what you'll see is this isn't Subroza. This is somebody who's been going after Subroza, somebody who's been using the alternate name Sub-Exposed, and they'd hacked his Skype and were now about trying to troll me into giving a fake interview. So I'm going to take some of the parts of this interview and just put it together. And I think this will serve just as a cautionary tale. First of all, for any journalists out there, Always do your due diligence. If it sounds too good to be true, if people don't want to meet basic standards to prove who they are, don't run the story. Second of all, I think it's just an interesting story. The lengths people will go to at the moment to prove people are cheating in the absence of evidence. They'll try and manufacture evidence, so be mindful of that. And I also think as well, it's a cautionary tale for how young people can somehow get caught up on the internet and do crazy things. This conversation goes from being a fake interview to me basically telling this young guy, look, you're in risk of being arrested. These are serious things that you're doing. Please stop, And I think it has a happy ending. The only thing that really was bad about it was it wasted my evening, which, let's be honest, I'm a fat loser anyway, right? So what was I going to do? So anyway, let's just have a look at some of this, and apologies for the sound levels if they're off, but hopefully you'll get the gist. I mean, it's a tough question to ask, really, mate, because, look, I got to be honest, here's what I think's going on, all right? And tell me if I'm wrong. I think you're an individual who maybe has ties to the cheating scene. Maybe could perhaps even prove that Subroza was cheating. But I'm very cynical that I'm talking to the real Subroza right now, because none of it makes sense. First of all, I'm pretty sure even in my mother, and she's incredibly old, by now. She's not quite. She's 55, but anyway, you get the point. She would have access to a webcam in her house. She would definitely have a webcam somewhere, even if it was just built into a laptop that she uses for work. And that would immediately verify whether or not I was talking to you. So there must be a webcam in the house somewhere. The other thing is, I mean, the idea that you're able to, this story is quite sensational. The idea that CLG went into your bag, found your mouse in the middle of the night while you were sleeping, somehow didn't wake you up.
This would be your most viewed video.
Yeah, but I mean, but again, I don't care about views or anything like that. I care about the truth. So this is why I've got to be incredibly careful, because what I think's going on here is, okay, I don't know who you are.
That I'm one of Father's friends. I'm talking to you, right?
Well, you could be one of Father's friends. You could be. Trying to think, one of Hassie's friends. There's a lot of people that I know have ties to the hacking scene. Your Skype's been compromised, on more than one occasion. I mean, I'm looking at the Skype history between us. Obviously, I have no idea even, if this wasn't some sort of creation designed to lure me in. I mean, you did add me a while ago. You added me in September, and we never spoke until November. So who knows what's going on? I mean, I could make some efforts to try and find out who you are. But I mean, obviously, look, here's the thing: if you're not Subroza, look, while I appreciate what you're trying to do.
No, Richard.
Yeah.
You're talking to Sub-Exposed.
Right. There we go.
Just say I wasn't trying to literally. I was literally just having some fun for myself. I wasn't even recording this. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. I was just gonna say. Obviously, hopefully that shows that I do my journalistic due diligence.
It does. Yeah. I was literally just. I'm gonna tell you this. I've been trying to get into contact with you for a long time. On the other Skype that I added you on, and you refused to call me because you thought I was father, and I couldn't do anything to get you to finally listen to me.
Well, so you thought you would try and hoax me and potentially ruin a young person's career and life?
No. I just had to tell you that I'm Subroza just so I can finally get into a Skype call with you and talk to you. I wasn't.
We were literally about to conduct an interview, weren't we?
No, we weren't. I was going to stop it. I was going to stop it way before that.
Okay.
I just have to get you in here so I can finally talk to you. Because every single time I tried to contact you, you always told me, go get some help, your father, and all this garbage. Like, I'm not father, I never was father, and you refuse to speak to me.
Okay, so you're not fodder, but you've definitely got an association with fodder, correct?
No, I know him, yeah. I have him out on Skype. I don't talk to the guy anymore at all. If you really want me to, I can, like, prove that if you think I'm talking to him right now. Oh my god, I'm gonna call Richard Lewis. Let's troll him. Like, I can prove that if you want to. But, like, I wanted to finally talk to you because you wouldn't. I couldn't get you to budge at all because you thought I was father. Like, that was in your brain. This guy's father. So let's not talk to him at all.
So what would you like to talk about?
I want to finally show you the uncensored recording from Subroza's Skype account.
Okay. Well, but I mean, I watched the video with the information edited out. I look. I agree. I think Subroza has cheated. I know those cheating accounts are his, right? And I know that you were able to access his Skype, either you or Fodder, whoever it was.
It was me.
Okay. Using that password, which was an incredible combination of numbers and letters and everything else. So the chances of it just being a coincidence, it wasn't password 1, 2.
That would be one in like I don't even know. That would be a crazy mathematical equation.
It simply can't happen. So I know all of that. So showing me the video isn't going to show me anything new. The point is that you were able to compromise his Skype, which, by the way, you should be careful doing things like that because I'm pretty sure compromising people's accounts, it is illegal.
Yes, and as you said in your own video, I'm VPN'd up the ass and much more. So
okay, I mean, things like this, wanting to talk to, like every time you raise your head up and try and gain a little bit more exposure, you've got to be careful because obviously, people. The more you do that, the more likely you are to get found out and caught. And cybercrime's a very serious thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, and you sound like quite a young adult, so I'm placing you somewhere between 18 and 20. Is that right? A little bit older?
I'm not going to comment on my age.
Okay. Well, I mean, all the more reason, okay, to be mindful because, this can really fuck up someone's future. Doing
I wasn't trying to. The only reason I told you about this interview and stuff was literally just so I can get you in the call because I knew that if I messaged you, I'm sub-exposed. All that you would have told me is, ooh, you have a mental disorder, your father, and you would have blocked me again, just like you did on the other account, without hearing me out at all. Because that's happened already.
So you've got my attention. I'm listening. But here's the thing. You had access to someone's Skype.
Yes.
You weren't able to find any evidence of cheating.
No, I wasn't, and that's the problem. To be honest, that getting into the Skype account was a waste of time. It took me like 20 minutes, but really, it was still a waste of time. And just like Subroza honestly doesn't care about this account. I literally DM'd him on Twitter, and he was like, "I don't even use Skype. I use Twitter because I've had since the time that this all happened." I've had access to this account. He doesn't care about it. He didn't try to get it back or anything. He didn't try to freaking call the authorities on me or whatever. He just doesn't care. And that's kind of weird. So yeah, he doesn't care about this account. I'm just saying.
Okay. Oh, so this is actually Subroza's Skype? Yes, this is his Skype account. Right, okay.
This is the same exact Skype account from the videos and everything.
Okay, so I mean, what do you want me to hear? Because if you've got no evidence of cheating, I don't see what the story is here. I mean, the story seems to me to be that yourself and Fodder have, harassed somebody that we should assume is innocent until they're proven guilty, right? I mean, I agree with you. I as I typed in the Skype when you set this interview up, full disclosure, I think you cheat. That's obviously when I thought you were still Subroza. So,
Also,
but it's not fair to go after somebody if there's no evidence. So
I stopped going after him.
Okay, so well, I mean, technically you are impersonating him on a Skype account that belonged to him. This is still.
I'm not messaging any of his friends or anything.
Okay.
The only
you
person
have just impersonated him to a journalist.
Yes, because I had no other choice. What did you want me to do?
What I want to know is what these ground-shaking revelations are that you felt compelled to do this. You know, to tell me, because you know you've got my full attention, but you know that showing me the uncensored video only proves that what I already know, that those accounts were his, and that you were able to gain access to his Skype, which I never doubted for a second. So what's next? What else do you have to tell me? Because I am listening.
I have something to tell you. Actually, two things. First of all, I'm not father, because like, and second of all, I spoke to one person, GRT, and he knew that I was not Subroza.
Okay.
To be honest, you probably know all this stuff because you have your connections and much more than me, obviously. Okay. Because let me quickly bring this up. Basically, this is what he told me. If you really wanted me to, I could share screens just in case you don't believe that these logs are real.
No, I'm sure yeah. You did talk to Garrett about it.
Yes. Okay.
I'm pretty sure it had something to do with why he had to leave the organization as well.
Yeah. What, did you speak to him or you just assumed?
Yeah, I'm capable of putting pieces together. I wouldn't be a journalist if I wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, true. So I'm not trying to call you an idiot or anything.
No,
I'm
absolutely not getting that vibe.
Yeah. I personally don't have bad opinions about you at all. It just made me very mad that you refused to let me prove myself that I'm not father or talk to me. That I had to go to this length to get in contact with you.
Yeah, but do you remember when I said that, you know, that you were disturbed and this is a disturbed way to behave? I mean, you haven't exactly proven me wrong in that regard. I mean, this is a very strange thing to do. Would you not agree?
Well, it's a strange... Yeah, okay, sure, it's a strange thing to do, but, like, this is the first time that I've ever done something like this to get into contact with someone. This is actually a really stupid way.
Email. You know, I would have had to read the email to know it
was
you.
No. Yes, you would read the email, but you would still think I'm father.
Yeah, but quite possibly. I mean, you know, to be honest, just so you know, from my past interactions with Jonathan, he, you know, this is definitely the way he behaves. It's very, like, the idea that somehow the person that he wants to talk to is somehow obligated to have to listen to him, you know, creating false identities to talk to people, what he likes to call social engineering. You know, he used to do this on way back on Gottfrag forums. He'd create threads about himself on alternate accounts and then come into the threads and answer the allegations of cheating. He'd accuse himself of cheating when he was, of course, cheating. And then he'd respond on his main account going, I'm not cheating. I mean, I don't know how disturbed you have to be to spend your time doing that, but, you know, you can understand why anyone that freely associates with somebody that I've known of for probably, you know, 10 years or something, doing the exact same disturbed thing in the exact same disturbed way for 10 years. If you freely associate with somebody like that, I'm definitely going to question your sanity.
You don't get it. I barely know the guy.
Okay. But it seems odd. I mean, this was one of the points, right, that was brought up at the time. You had this evidence that the, you know, cheating accounts were linked to Subroza, and you went to fodder. You know, not a journalist, not you know, didn't even have to be me, by the way. Wait, anybody would have loved to have printed that story, right? But you didn't. You went to fodder, a known troll.
Do you want me to know why I went to him?
Well, go on, tell me, sure.
Just because I thought it would be funny.
Okay, well, how did that work out? It's not really funny, is it? I mean, because when you associate with people like that, people like myself will just... anything you say is now circumcised.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
And also, as well, I mean, just in general, this is a word of advice. You know, you really got to work on just lying in general. I mean, because that story stunk. It made no sense. You know, the idea of that you were in...
I wasn't trying to make... I wasn't trying... Yes, I'm sure. I was trying to make it sound like bullshit, so eventually you would finally, as you did catch on, that I probably wasn't Subroza. That's the point.
I mean, while we were talking, I was actually messaging people who might know if your Skype had been compromised. It seemed a bit too weird. Like, to be honest, from the initial messages, I didn't think anything about it. Once we started talking, it did seem very strange.
Yeah, that's the point. I wasn't actually trying to get an interview from you.
Okay.
Like, I didn't want to because that would damage your career. If you actually somehow felt that I'm Subroza, like, that would actually be honestly stupid. Like, that would bring my reputation down about you if you did actually post a video and saying that I'm Subroza. That would honestly be stupid.
Yeah, I mean...
So, yeah.
So again, let's just take it back a little bit. What's the story? What do you want to tell me? Other than you aren't fodder, great, establish that. You know, you are behaving a lot like him, though. So I mean, that would probably still make me file you in the fodder basket of crazy people to avoid in future. But you also haven't provided any extra evidence or anything about whether or not Subroza's a cheat. So I mean, you know, if you've got something like that, I mean, you did mention a cheat coder when we were talking earlier.
Vez.
Yeah. So who's Vez?
That is the cheat coder that people are accusing, basically, of making cheats for Subroza.
Okay. So
that's basically. What?
So tell me about Vez. How do you know about him? Who is he? What does he do? Blah blah.
To be honest, all that I know about that guy is that he was accused of doing things, and I really didn't confirm that. I just used them in my story just because, to be honest, I was actually kind of bored. So why not just make up some story? I'm not fodder. I'm not actually trying to prove anything. Like, let's say that I was cheating or whatever. Like, I'm not going to contact you and try to get you to make a story on me. Ooh, I'm not cheating, but I'm blatantly cheating. Like, that's something father would probably do, right?
Well, quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, give me one second. I'm just going to paste some logs from Garrett.
Okay.
This is from yesterday. And one more thing. Give me 1 second. There you go.
Okay.
It's basically just Garrett saying that CLG is a complete shithole.
I mean, that's nothing we haven't talked about in the past.
Yeah, but there was never really any, like, no one ever actually confirmed or denied that until now. Unless I missed something, but I don't remember.
I mean, you know, there was a big announcement about it because they said that he had failed to live up to the standards. Now, you know, what I suspect, and Garrett hasn't told me, is that he confronted the organization about Subroza, said that he felt that he was cheating, and even if he wasn't, it was bad publicity, and we should do something about it. And they turned around and said, you know, how dare you call into question the veracity of one of our players, and they shit-canned him. That's what I think happened. And, of course, you know, with all of this other stuff that's been going on, you know, compromised Skypes and Twitter getting hacked as well, apparently.
That wasn't me.
Okay. I mean, I don't think his Twitter was hacked.
I don't believe that either because I didn't see.
I don't believe that. You know, because there was that thing when that VAC wave came in, and he transferred a bunch of skins across. I mean, look, there's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but you know, you can't really go off circumstantial evidence.
Wait, I have a question. Where did you get that? How did you find out about that? Was that just someone messaging you, or was that father?
About what?
About the transfer.
It was. I'm trying to think. I think it was just a random tip-off. I think somebody made an HLTV thread about it as well. So it's
okay.
you know it was established. Like someone had it before and after of Subroza's inventory, and a bunch of skins had gone missing.
Also, the thing about Garrett, I asked him why he thought CLG was a mess and stuff like that, and he refused to comment on that. So, in a way, that kind of points into the direction of what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, so anyway, look, because obviously I know this might surprise you. I do have things to do.
Yeah, of course.
I
understand.
And I'm interested in, you made some fairly extraordinary claims. I'm interested in talking about this cheat code of Vez. If you want to, if there's any information you can give me about him, I know a lot of cheat coders. I could ask some other cheat coders about him.
Yes, I do that because I personally don't know much about Vez, but I know that I'm like 95% sure that he did do some things in the past. I literally stopped caring, to be honest. I just want to finally just get into contact with you just to say a couple things. That's it. Like, I stopped caring about this. To be honest, if I really wanted to, if you want me to, I can't get it back. I don't give a shit about this guy.
Yeah, look, dude, here's what I think, right? Like, at the end of the day, we're all passionate about keeping a cheat-free scene, but there's got to be rules and methods, Don't get me wrong. I think everybody would love to fantasize about just being able to hack into anyone's email or anyone's Skype or anyone's Twitter or whatever it is at any given point to find out the truth. But that's a complete violation of someone's privacy, and it's illegal for those reasons, and it's a disgusting way to treat somebody. I don't condone it. I'll use, if somebody else does it and sends me information that I believe is in the public interest, I will use it because that's my duty as a journalist. But what you're doing here is you've taken a young guy's Skype away from him. You're saying you haven't impersonated him. I mean, you just have to me, so I will take that with a pinch of salt. And on top of that, you haven't found anything, and yet you're still going around. You're still called sub-exposed. You still believe that this guy cheats.
No, I don't go around calling myself sub-exposed. I just said that to you because I know that that's the name that you know me by. Other people don't call me that.
So I think honestly, the right thing to do would be to just give him the Skype account back. If you've accessed anything else, give it back. And just leave this well alone, because this is really serious. It's like I said, it's not even potentially illegal. What you're doing is illegal. You could fuck up your whole life, and for what? To potentially catch one cheater in a game of Counter-Strike, which you are professing to me now that you don't care about. So, the right thing to do here for all parties is just to fucking walk well away from it. I'm not even mad that you wasted my time, because, look, at least I got the chance to say to you what you should do is just fucking just walk away, let Subroza have his fucking life back. On a long enough time scale, if you're doing something wrong, chances are you're going to get caught. There's measures in place to ensure that. And, even though I've got my own personal beliefs, I think you always have to give everyone the benefit of the doubt in the absence of evidence.
Do you know what? I'm going to do this. What if I just leave the Skype username and password to you when you can get it back to him? Because he's not going to talk to me at all.
I mean, sure. I'm a bit reluctant to do
just,
that because
just
it's
don't,
private and personal information.
Yes, all you have to do is not log into it and your IP is not there. That's it.
Yeah, no, but I'm not worried about it from a criminal perspective. I just don't like to access people's private and personal information for obvious reasons, say, for example, if the password has a birthday in it or...
No. I changed it.
Okay. All right, well, yeah, I'll certainly like to return it to him, and then he's got the choice about whether or not he can use it. Certainly hope he can get some two-step authentication on there so it doesn't happen again. And again, if you've accessed anything else, definitely just walk away from it and leave him alone.
No, there's nothing else. This is the only thing. Here you go. The password, that's the one that I made. That's not his password at all. So yeah, there you go. You can give that back to him. I honestly don't care anymore.
All right, and just moving forward, dude. Like just be mindful about some of the company you keep, because when you get locked in that fucking echo chamber, like ridiculous ideas can feel like the smart thing to do, and then you get stuck. Having to deal with the aftermath and the mess. Because I'll tell you this, I had a guy who also added me on Skype. He gave me proof, or what he said was proof, of fodder hacking into Sevo admins' accounts and everything else.
Oh my god.
Yeah? You know this guy?
That was me.
I thought so, yeah, good. I had a feeling.
That was a troll.
Yeah, that was also a troll, and I saw right through it, right? I'm not, this isn't my first time at the fucking rodeo. I'm not going to get, and also, do you know what that means? Also that it was you who was spamming that Twitter shit saying you were going to shoot up schools and stuff with bots.
Okay. I'm not even gonna talk about. I'm not confirming or denying that.
Yeah, but it was obviously you. So look, that's also not fucking cool, man. Like if put it this way, if somebody sees somebody threatening to shoot up a school, unless I put out a story about fodder, which you've planted and manufactured because you're having some personal argument with him, Mr. Poison. Look, if you do that and somebody reports it to the FBI, even if they don't catch you, which seriously, I would sincerely hope they don't, because you seem like a misguided young adult doing these things for the lulz. But if they do catch you, you're in serious trouble. But the resources they've wasted, it could go into stopping other crimes, right? It's like why you don't call 911 for pranks. Somebody's life could genuinely be at stake. And so you've got to, I'm just telling you, as a guy who's lived a little and is a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and fucked up, made some mistakes of his own, seriously, just stop all with this shit, because it's fucked up. The only thing that can happen is something bad's going to happen to somebody else, or something bad's going to happen to you. So I don't understand the fascination with doing it.
Well, I'm gonna say this once again. I'm not confirming or denying about that Twitter stuff.
Yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah,
whatever. Look,
yeah. I'm just saying.
We both know,
Oh.
right? We both know. So it's fine. But
Yeah.
just stop. Stop doing that.
Didn't you notice that, like, I honestly, like, I didn't do anything. Like, there's no more of this Subroza stuff. It kind of died down. I stopped.
Good.
A while ago.
That's awesome. But
yeah.
You've got to. I don't know what the beef is, or beef was with you and fodder, or whether you were working with him to try and make me look bad, and
No, I didn't try to make you look bad.
Well, imagine if I'd published the lies. Imagine if I don't do my due diligence, right? Imagine if I'm a younger journalist, a little bit green around the gills, and I just buy everything that's fed to me, hook, line, and sinker, and I went out and I published those Reddit.
That's why I did it to you, because I knew that you're not stupid.
Well, no, but you didn't the first time, not with the Reddit messages. I could have just as easily took those Reddit DMs and made them public on my Twitter, and then turns out they're a prank, and I published a lie, which is, that's the kind of blow you never recover from as a journalist. If you publish something.
Wait, are you talking about the Reddit logs of me and Father talking about stuff?
We're talking about the ones where you sent it to me under the alias Mr. Poison, and said that you had proof that fodder was involved in hacking Sevo admins' accounts. Certainly, I got
into those accounts.
Right. So you've also hacked Sevo accounts, which listen. The thing with this is, that's only feeding fodder's illness. By the way, it's not fair to him either. By the way,
that's why I don't talk to him anymore.
Yeah, because I do genuinely believe he has an issue.
I do too.
I saw when he published the pictures of Guardian. Allegedly saying, I will pay you Bitcoin if you don't report me for cheating.
I made those.
Come on, dude. Do you understand?
Yeah, I know. That's why I stopped talking to him. Wait. Let me explain to you what I was doing.
Okay, what were you
So, me and I was literally, so all the stuff for the couple of weeks when Father was going completely batshit, and he was literally posting all these things, and he's like, oh my god, Guardian cheating, oh my god, this person's cheating, and he's posting all this crap on Twitter. I was the one who fed him all this garbage just so I could see this shit show on Twitter, just because I found that funny. So I honestly don't give a single shit about father.
No, I get that, but you know, when you're like basically spamming me on Twitter and trying to push me into publishing a story about him to get back at him, you know, again, it's like you've got to understand that you can't just conveniently use people or apply pressure to people just to get you know, what you want out of them. You know?
Yes, that's why I stopped, because I realized how fucked up that was.
You know, especially if you're doing things that are in and of themselves illegal. You know, let's be clear. You've probably broken about 3 or 4 laws here, which would all, you know, fall under, you know, federal laws. Not, you know, I don't know where you live, obviously, but I mean, certainly international laws apply as well. You know, issuing a threat to me personally, which you did. You know, you said you were going to come to my house and you were going to shoot me. That was one of the tweets. Saying you were going to shoot up a school. I mean,
I'm not
I know you're not confirming it, but again, we're not stupid people. I'm certainly not. So I know within the timeline and the chronology of everything that happened literally moments after I removed you from Skype on your other account. So that is, you know, let's just say, an extraordinary coincidence, and certainly that the accounts that were tweeting at me were pushing me to do something that only you would have had knowledge of, because I spoke to it about, you know, I spoke to it with nobody else. So those 2 separate incidents, that's 2 separate crimes, because you threatened me, you threatened to shoot up school. I mean, those are 2 separate things. And then on top of that, you know, you've gained access to people's accounts. That's federal crime. You know, this is a very, you know, dark road you're headed down if you don't, you know, get out of it. You know, because like, look, I've got no interest in finding out who you are, what you do, why you do it. But you know, I'm pretty confident in my own abilities as a journalist that if I wanted to, I probably could. And you know, I'm not going to do that, and it's not a threat or anything like that. But I wouldn't want to see a young person fuck their lives up because they were acting stupid on the internet. That's definitely not the route you want to go down.
I'm just gonna say this, actually, thank you for not, like, trying to find out who I am. Thank you.
No, listen, look, I'm not interested. I'd probably have to talk to fodder and other people. That would just give me a brain tumor. I'm not interested in doing it. But you've absolutely got to stop doing the shit you're doing. I mean, seriously, you have to, for your own sake. You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, you've just said it's the day after Thanksgiving. I believe you're at home with your family right now. You know.
Yeah, then the next day, FBI is busting down my door.
Yeah, imagine that. Like, what a Thanksgiving gift, right? You know. So think about your folks. You know. So just you know, just don't is what I'm trying to say. And look, leave Subroza alone. I'll make sure he gets this account back.
Yeah, that's why I gave it to you. I'm done with him. Okay. That's why I gave it to you. I just want to be honest, I just want to step away from CS. That's why I gave you his details so you can give it back, and then I'm done. To be honest, I'm going to delete my Reddit account right now just to prove that,
and also, you know, understand that understand that if there was, for example, any cause, if you were linked to any crime and a federal investigation occurred, Reddit would be compelled to give up details in that account. So if you, unless you've used a VPN at all times when accessing that account.
Yes, that's what I did.
Okay, well, you know, even then.
Much more than that, much more.
Okay, good. Well, I'm saying good. It's not good, but obviously, again, I'm not malicious. I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. So, yeah. So look, again, I got to get back to work. I'll probably tell this story and make a video about it if that's all right with you.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just don't. Yeah, that's fine. Just like, actually, no. Yeah, just do it.
I think it's a funny story, right? I think I'll laugh about this 1 year from now.
Yeah. Give me 1 sec. Look at my Reddit account just for 1 sec. I just want you to see it. That I'm about to delete it.
Okay.
Tell me when you're on it.
Yep, sure. It was sub-exposed with a 0, right?
Yes. Yes, the stupidest name that I came up with, just Subroza exposed. Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now.
And it's gone.
Okay. And refresh. Yep. Use it as deleted there. Right, good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, I guess happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good one. We'll probably never speak again.
Yeah.
And just try and heed my advice, dude, because it'd suck if people went to jail over what are, in the grand scheme of things, in my opinion, pretty silly little things. I don't mind getting threats. I don't mind that. I don't mind, fucking Skype's needed two-step fucking authentication for ages anyway. It's finally got it, and hopefully that's just the end of that chapter.
Also, actually, could you do one thing
What's that?
in the video that you're making? Could you just literally just give a shout out to Trevor Solis? That's like one of my aliases. Just do that instead of Subexposed, because that's a stupid name.
Okay.
Just. Yep.
It'll be there. So don't worry.
Here. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Well, have a good time. I'll make sure he gets this account back. You can trust me with it, and just be careful doing whatever you're doing. Go back to studying.
I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm going back to school.
Yeah, good. Go back to school, get an education, do something positive with your life, and take care of yourself.
To be honest, thank you for this conversation.
No, it's all right, dude.
Honestly.
It's cool, man. Just make sure you don't fall in with crazy people.
Yeah, I'm never communicating with people like Father ever again. Okay. That gave me an aneurysm. Okay, peace.
All right, look after yourself. Take care. Bye.
Thank
you. Who'd be a journalist, eh? So there it is, the story from beginning to end. Very bizarre, and not the first time that something like that's happened to me, but I thought I'd share this one. Apologies again for the sound. He seemed to have some weird submarine mic. It was making my sound go down while his was peaking really high. So I've tried to normalize it and level it out. I'm sure it sounds like ass, so there you have it. But I had to kind of get the stealth record on quickly, in the end, he's said, hey, make a video about it. So that's cool. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's made some fucking mistakes, probably broken a bunch of laws. Just as a word of advice to anybody who thinks that this is the way to go, hacking into people's accounts to get information, don't do it. It's not cool. Violating people's privacy isn't cool. You can find yourself in a lot of trouble for doing it. I'm not going to be impressed with it. Yes, I've used hacked Skype logs and things like that in the past, only when I believe it's in the public interest. And trust me, it weighs on me when you have to, gauge the greater good, the public interest versus people's right to privacy. It can be very, very difficult. It can be difficult road to walk sometimes. I always like to think I've fallen on the right side of it, but maybe not. Anyway, the good news is I'm going to go and try and give Subroza his Skype account back now. If you see this video, you've seen, just hit me up. I've got the login. You'll be able to change it and get some two-step authentication on there. You can get your old account back. And, just witch hunting, man. It's just not fucking cool. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Sorry about the sound again. Next video will be cool. Peace out.